And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time. Terra Invicta as the initiative in this run in patch 1.0.29 at this point. This run was started on the loose candidate 6, and if everything goes according to plan, this may be the last episode. We're going to confirm assignments, we're going to let some time pass. We got multiple fleets converging on the alien last line of defense, with the expectation they will arrive in about 300 game days. So about 10 council actions out. It does look like Atomic Strike here is probably not going to make it in time. Because it's about 500 game days out. I don't think we're going to wait that long. We've got three fleets ready for fighting. I'm a little worried about how the fight with that last alien fleet is going to go, because I think it's the Holy Kinetics Batman from a few episodes back, a few streams back. With the number of kinetics on those big ships. But yeah, I still think three ships or three fleets sequentially going after it is probably going to be enough. And it's that fleet and the one that's coming at us that we had to deal with. We take those two down, we fight the aliens, and we win.
Public opinion is moving in our direction.
Atomic Strike's going to be sort of lost in transit here. It's probably not going to have any fun. We're not going to wait for it, let's say. Not going to wait 20 council actions when we can probably be done. Well, it will probably be floating over the alien wormhole when we have victory. It just probably won't be engaged in that fight. Aliens appear to be just a little desperate to get us off of Waywot. Coming a little bit faster. I don't need to be sitting at 100 MPS, even though we're defending a station. These 8 ships versus the one dreadnought the alien sent. Ignore the 2 gunships at the back. They're not going to really participate. Now we watch the laser light show start. There we go. Yeah, we can probably expect that to happen a couple times more while we're waiting for fleets to arrive. Go 30th of November. So we're going to have an alien fight 30th of November with a big fleet arriving. I do have Plan B if the first fleet isn't enough to defeat the aliens, although Plan A is, well, Plan A might not get away unscathed, let's say. I'm expecting it to win the fight. You can now be officially rich. Next is Billionaire. Okay. We'll start setting up to be a billionaire.
Offering support.
I will help them.
Offering assistance.
Order is returning.
We have moved the needle.
Okay. Two.
Public sentiment is increasingly with us.
Good to see the resistance to resisting. I just get random nation yeah, I just got a random bit handed to me. Just rebels into my hands. Fair enough. And get on board with India being a better place to be than the alien nation.
Lending my expertise.
Offering assistance.
Panic. I'll take the democracy hit.
Offering support.
Because we are running government here to legitimize ownership on some things, so that's fine. It'll come back anyway. We've completed transfer. Twitch chat saying the money grubbers are coming out today. Yeah, we're beginning our slow transit out to the Orc Cloud to finish the run here. Although the aliens are also coming to us. It's not just us going to them, it's also them coming to us.
Public sentiment is
So
increasingly
Victor
with
606
us.
has come into Earth. Got a welcoming party waiting for it.
Our cause is unjustified to them.
A core economic region in India. That'll help its GDP grow.
I'm here.
Where to?
We are taking power.
I will help them.
Offering support.
I will help them.
Okay, more stuff completing that hab. Like, what do we have built and what's the progress on building? So we've got enough power built. Don't need the fusion pile anymore, so we can replace the fusion pile with a heavy fusion pile. Still need the fusion reactor array, I suspect. At least until... yeah, probably still need that until something else completes. You'll be done on the 5th of February. And then we can replace the construction module.
Things are stabilizing.
Public opinion is moving in our direction.
We have removed some tracks.
Here we go. Back in Malaysian states, they're probably going to crack down on Singapore again. Knowledge, economy, military, public opinion boost around the world. Public opinion boost around the world is probably more valuable to me than just 20. Alright, well, it is a kill fight. We'll do the economy. We definitely don't need the research. We're on future tech, and management research.
What's the op?
Somewhat unexpected. Let's start trying to find a servant counselor.
Tracking target.
At the same time, you
Where to?
go take that one back.
Terminating the opposition.
Offering assistance.
Offering counsel.
Lending my expertise.
Okay, so with the nanofactory complete, we don't need the construction module. Replace you with a heavy fission module. Yeah, until the heavy fission reactor here is... oh, doing heavy fission. It's supposed to be heavy fusion. Fusion, please. Yeah, we'll do heavy fusion over the top of you as well. Heavy fusion over the top of you as well. Some stuff might not work because of delays in construction, but hopefully it'll be fine. Yeah, you're making this go faster, so this will be done the 29th of May. At which point we can either build new Tier 3 HABs in Weiwu, or we can also build the Spaceworks here faster. Doing the good old-fashioned RTS equivalent of forward building your unit deployment centers. Your barracks is in barracks at Archer Range or whatever in AoE 2 and stuff.
Surveillance complete.
Build right next to the alien home place.
We are winning their hearts and minds.
There's probes hitting even farther out places. Okay. Pluto! We know Pluto actually has nobles. Cool. There's decent radioactives over there, too. If we weren't already winning the game, we might actually care about that.
Our associates are now in charge.
Okay, 170-ish days out. 40. 140, okay. Got someone who doesn't have a counselor, should have got two. So you are going to do defend interest. So Singapore's a
Securing
little
our
less likely to
control.
be
Ready to go.
You're going to purge the one we don't control. Then we're going to confirm assignments and let time pass.
Securing our interests.
Offering counsel.
Lending my expertise.
Offering support.
Public sentiment is increasingly with us.
Someone else purged them. Someone also purged us. Here be the fleet battle. 6.1k versus 4.3, so the game's probably already thinking we're winning. We are going to engage the aliens. They are, in fact, attempting to run for it. They fail, but they attempted. Guess we're chasing them. They've got 8 not deployed. Although, if we start blowing them up, they'll start deploying more. So they'll probably start deploying as soon as 8 have been blown up, so the rest can come in one wave. There's 2. Guess I should probably focus on the ones that are going for the blanks first. Okay, that one's dead in the void. I feel like one of my ships just blew up. Yeah, one of my ships just blew up. Ow. Okay, well, something hits hard. I don't think it was kinetics. We're down to 8 ships. Might be the plasma. I think that's plasma coming in. Here comes the alien reinforcements. Yeah, I can kind of see why the aliens wanted to, you know, run away. The battle's barely even started, and most of their reinforcements have been destroyed. We're starting to get down to the main capital ships left. Can't be run away. Well, something hits hard. Guess it's probably plasma or something. Either that or the aliens have got a particle weapon, and I just don't recognize what the particle weapon shots look like. Which would actually track. The armor I'm using is really bad against particle weapons. Particle weapons are mostly based on armor, or armor effectiveness against particle weapons is mostly based on their raw weight. So if you've got nice, efficient, high-tech armor, your armor is actually really bad against it. Yeah, there's definitely some particle weapons in there. Might have underestimated the lethality of those weapons. Well, I didn't necessarily underestimate them, I just didn't look at the alien loadout. But yeah, they're still doing attrition on my forces slow enough that this isn't a problem. This is a bloody nose for taking out an entire alien fleet. And one of the 2 remaining fleets that actually has enough ships to be a requirement to clear. Excuse me, when I slightly slam on the brakes here. So we don't have a collision event. I think that's good enough. Yeah, and the weapons we're using is maybe not the best specifically for dealing with other ships. Kinetics would probably be better for dealing with other ships with their raw hit point totals. There we go. With that, the last alien offensive action, I think, of this campaign is complete. Or at least the last serious one. They have one last fleet over the last of their core territory, which I think will basically stay garrisoned there. There we go. So we lost 3 ships. We got 31 exotics and a bunch of other materials. Is it Humpclaw where I've been basing everything? I think so. Yeah, sure, that'll work. Or this brings up the list as well. Yeah, Humpclaw works. 5.2 hours. Which ships did we lose? Because I'll just start queuing up the replacements. Oh, that's the outbound from Earth. All 4 PD survived. It's the 3 plasma laser combos that went. Okay, 176 days. That fleet will be repaired and replaced back to full strength.
Our people have taken control.
Securing our control.
Your orders?
Sorry, pump pickup there. Let's go ahead and... Oh, they haven't taken it yet, so I can't purge them from the place that they haven't purged us out of yet. Which is, I suppose, fair enough.
Investigating target.
Securing our interests.
Offering support.
Okay. Yep, game's lagging for whatever reason. Someone's thinking somewhere, probably. Oh, that's some phenomenal lag. To be fair, it could just be my armies. I've got lots of armies on the planet that are in theory hunting the aliens. Protectorate. We'll try to turn a Protectorate. I don't know if the Protectorate actually know where the alien bases are. I know the servants do, I'm not so sure of the Protectorate. Okay, you've got the space works done, although you don't have the space work powered. My power off. Not allowed to power you off, am I? I think I have enough power to power you on if we upgrade this one. So, do the upgrade. Yeah, that was enough power to power it on. Can't replace the fusion reactor, right? Because right now it's everything, all the power. Same with the fusion, that fusion one as well, yeah. It'll still be done on the 29th of May. So it's April, May, so it's about 44 days? 44 days and the manufacturing complex will be done. Then we can scrap the nanofactory, and we can start working on just building shipyards here. Okay, you probably want espionage. If it was early in the game, it might be worth trying to save it for aerospace engineer, but at this point we really don't need that boost. Okay. Have you defend interests? Send you around for a purge, get our point back. We'll take you off. We know that you're a protectorate member. Let's figure out what your loyalty is. Galefight, its economy has expanded enough to be a 6-spot location. Alien administration's back. I didn't even realize it went away, to be fair. That's how little I care about whether the alien administration exists as the initiative. There's a manufacturing complex. Not powered under the current setup because there's not enough power. So I guess we're just waiting until the power comes online. 5th of August, 5th of August, 5th of August. Yeah, we're basically waiting for the power to come online. Yeah, turning you off is not going to provide enough power. That takes quite a bit of power. 80 more power. How quickly can I get 80 power? Does the fusion provide heavy fusion? $70. So I have to do like 2 fusion piles, which we could get up in 22.5 days. Okay. Temporary solution in 22.5 days. That'll bring the manufacturing complex online, which will accelerate the construction of the heavy fusion reactors, which will provide plenty of power when they're built. Confirm assignments, let time pass. And again, most of what we're doing is a sort of station keeping in a bunch of different places while waiting our fleets to fly to places. Thinking about it, that Luna orbit transit is a bit of a concern. Let's get you up to the moon. The reason why it's a bit of a concern is we do need to have a Tier 3 hab on the moon. So if they're coming from a Tier 3 hab, they need to be told they're not allowed to. Okay, our power plant's now online. So now you're functioning, which has accelerated these. These will be done 25th of July, so just a month out. With that, let's do a heavy fusion. Actually, it probably doesn't need to be a heavy fusion reactor. Can I... or... main thing we're trying to build is I want to get like 10 spaceworks here. So, 1, 2, plus the 2 that are already there, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Do I need that power for that fusion pile right now? No. 10. So when all those are built, we'll have all the spaceworks we need to build full fleets at 10 in a whole cycle. And that's pretty much full. There may be an argument we want to replace the fusion reactor array with, like... Well, actually, we've got the 2 fusion piles. We probably want to replace one of the fusion piles with another farm when everything else is done. Upgrade the fusion reactor array, and then maybe replace one of the fusion piles. The tier 1 fusion with something else. It's not a rush. I think that should work.
I've had it in shorter. Okay, coming down, Jack. You ready?
But yeah, once that's done, we'll then be able to crank out a new fleet every 176 days. Like, most, like 10 days away from the alien base. Which means I can build simply ludicrous low Delta V fleets for that sort of attack. So we're going to send you up to orbit. That wasn't the thing I wanted you to scroll again. Where's my gotta go fast? Is that 7? Is that 724? Yes, that's the gotta go fast. So India 724 is the one we want you to orbit to. Might be a little early, but do at some point need to get him traveling. So he's got the Ferrocite Masters. So they need to go to the alien wormhole and do tame the enemy. Take a little bit of democracy hit there. Be fine. Again, because we're running government to decolonize places. Mission science complete. Materials, I suppose. So we can have more exotics to build more warships. Actual loyalty is 5. Okay. On, and I gotta go fast. So, anti gotta go fast. Should begin transit. Transfer. We haven't actually cleared out destination, the final destination. So we're going to take a slight detour. We're going to go to that proverbial gas station, which was set up mere orbits away from the place. Waywat here is, I believe, the moon of the final objective. So it's going to take you 18 weeks to get there, but I think by then we should have everything cleared out. Check in. Nope, no. Here we go. At 87% of the, or 89% of the GDP. Sorry. got the control. There's actually 2 fleets between us and our objective. So about 20,000 fleet power in the orbit. And then we've got 1 last base we have to destroy, and presumably got to lower the defenses enough on the final base to land. So pretty close. Got 20 ships together. I think we're going to go in with 30. Because again, I think we're going to be fighting a few hundred alien ships with a lot of kinetics. Oh, you're at Marduk. You need to go to Barbosa, refuel. New space works completed there. And the power is online, so pretty good to go. I can probably should be able to do that upgrade and that upgrade without depowering stuff. Yeah. And in theory, we can build some ships there. As you are actually 2 ships short, full batch. Get you up to full strength. What did we lose? Did we lose? Lost a PD and a plasma. $15 days out. Council mission successful. We have turned the Protectorate Counselor. And yeah, the Protectorates apparently don't know about the alien bases. Alien structures on Earth. Resupply, 3.1 days. So we got our 30 ships. This will descend upon the last bastion of alien resistance. 3.2 hours. So this is a fleet battle that the game probably predicts that we're going to win based on raw fleet power, right? We've got 18.4k to their 15.2. We engage. I'm tempted to see what auto-resolve we'll get here. Don't expect it to be phenomenal. Yeah, so either the Holy Kinetics is completely blapping our fleet, or we're not winning. So we're probably going to be fighting this fight, one way or the other. It's not like the auto-resolve is going to give us a victory. Yes, auto-resolve is predicting a complete defeat with a lot of damage but no destruction, which is... no, we're rejecting that. We will have to fight the battle manually, which is kind of what we expected. It's deploying nothing but attack ships, which is not what we're doing. We're gonna come in pretty slow. We're gonna take some of the PD. Oh, I need to swap you with PD. Swap you with PD. There we go. So now we got 4 PD in the fight. We've got... yeah, I think that should be fine. Confirm. Yeah, PD. Four batches of PD. We're coming in slow because this is going to be a fight where we don't really want to be on top of the station while we're fighting everyone. And this is going to be kinetics from Timbuktu and beyond. We got 20 ships deployed, and there's another 95 in reserve. We have 20 in our reserve. Got 1 alien ship showing off how maneuverable they are. Otherwise, they have yet to decide if they're going to really run any flankers. Otherwise, we're mostly going to be focusing, at least in this first wave, on trying to disable kinetic weapons. Okay, so some of their ships must cross the 1,000-kilometer range because they're opening fire. Either that or their UV has a longer range than 1,000 kilometers. That might be the case. Might be the UV's just got really long range. First kill. Second kill. As long as these guys are giving us their side, we should focus them down. Looks like it's directed to the front. Redirect to a different target. Lost our first ship. That was somewhat expected, that's what we brought 30. First enemy kinetic ship opening fire. Let's redirect to the one that we know is firing kinetics. That is the Righteous Demon. Yeah, it's absolutely coated in kinetics. Oh yep, just crossed the range where the larger kinetics are going to open fire. Here's where we find out if we run enough PD. I suspect the answer is we have not. Well, for the moment, for the longer range kinetics, it might be just enough. The question is, can we bring any of them down to stop the level of the docket inbound? I think we may have got the Righteous Demon to stop firing. Also has quite a few heavy mag batteries. I think we just crossed into the range where the more batteries open fire on the mothership. At least one of them. Yeah, we definitely hit the range where they get to shoot more. The light batteries, I think, are opening up to this range is what's going on. This question is, can we do enough damage to these capital ships? Reduce the kinetics for the second wave. I'm fairly certain we do not have enough firepower to win on this first wave. Trying to figure out when we've brought the kinetics offline on the first mothership. Direct fire to the second one. I think the answer is now. It will be easier to get offline on the Titans. Swap to the Titan, get the Titan. Bring Titan's payload offline. Yeah, Titan looks like it's offline. That one looks offline. Okay, let's swap back to the other Or swap to the other mothership. Oh, we've actually scored a kill on a mothership. Okay, I think that is the kinetics coming off all the ships in deployment. Let's deal with the mothership and or probably crash into it, because I think we're about to have a collision. Then any of the survivors will redirect onto the battle station. Well, we've run the gauntlet at this point, the alien fleet. Direct fire at the alien battle station. That's where the remainder of the kinetics are coming from, besides the alien lasers. That's really what the threat is. Another one of our ships. Okay, battle station is now harmless. Here comes the aliens' first reinforcement wave. In a way, it's actually a good sign. We've weathered the first wave. With our first wave. That means they've got to bring a second wave in, so we're at least doing better than the 1-to-1. Ram actually disengage. Okay, flankers of that wave have failed. Looks like the alien fleet, the first wave of the alien fleet is actually disengaging. Not be expecting to come around for another pass. Well, that will make space for their third wave to come in pretty quickly. We're down to effectively 2 combat-capable ships. Here comes another wave of aliens. No, I say 2 combat-capable. 2 combat-capable in the current wave. Although the 2 remaining ships have done a number on the alien second wave at this point. Another kill for the last two. Although I think this is the last wave that these guys are going to be intact for. One, two, three, four, five, six. That's as many as we want. 4 PD comes in, so 3, 6, 4 PD should come in. Here we go. Here comes the next wave. Oh, we're both getting reinforcements at the same time, apparently right on top of each other. All this is going to be chaotic. Okay, the game was nice enough to put their reinforcements a bit farther back than right on top of us. Second wave has arrived with a severe lack of enemy capital ships. It's just mopping up duty at this point. Took an entire fleet, but or took an entire fleet of casualties. But I think we will pull through here with enough capacity to run down the survivors and carry out the orbital bombardments required. Apparently they still have a couple of battleships in this wave. But yeah, especially maneuvering battleships stand no chance at survival. Oh, they still have motherships in reserve to pull out? Oh dear. Well, that's a lot of torpedoes. That's a lot of torpedoes. Okay, never mind. Let's see if we actually do this. you try to match the Delta V of the rest of the fleet, please? Or the vectors of the rest of the fleet, please? So what happened is he had to do some maneuvering to avoid hitting the station, I think. Never mind, we're just losing that one. That's why you don't leave formation. Formations are apparently quite important. When you're reliant on overlapping PD to protect you from incoming kinetics. That was the other one that kind of left formation. Yeah, the aliens are interested in disengaging. We're not. Seeing this through to the bloody end. There goes another ship. Down to 7 in the current wave. We do have another wave of 10. I know we should be better off to this end. Although I suppose these guys are going to go pretty harmless after their initial volleys are sent. Oh, that's... We're initially your torpedoes already. Okay. Here come the torpedoes. They're not even firing all the tubes. Firing a lot of the tubes. Any kinetics from both ends? I come from the little ship behind. Yes. Well, I say little ship, it's a Lloyd class destroyer, so oh yeah, in comparison to the mothership, it's a little ship. They got their mags going again. Or they've got a smaller one that they brought online. Smaller one brought online. Brought the cannon offline, they still got their batteries operational, okay. Shut that one up. Yeah, the motherships at this point are mostly just a plasma cannon, plasma battery, plasma cannon. Not too harmful. At least not until they get them bring that antimatter point defense to bear. Or particle beam point defense to bear. I'm gonna try to move her to avoid a collision. Would be nice. Okay, I think it's done it. Oh, didn't tell that one to maneuver to avoid a collision. I'm not surprised the aliens aren't bringing the next wave at this point, but... Yep, here comes the wave. Jinxed myself there. Hmm. Here comes the next wave, which isn't super surprising, I suppose. Oh, we've actually got another one deploying in front of us. I don't know which one that is, but that's another one? Hard to tell. Yeah, at this point, the formation of our last three guys is a bit naff, but definitely be worse. We still have one more wave to come in. Oh, you're just disengaging. Okay. Probably try to order these guys just to disengage. Your primary is offline, disengage. Your primary is offline, disengage. No, let's just have you disengage too. We get the rest of our ships in. It's one cohesive battle group, much closer to the enemy. This is the last of our forces, one last wave of our guys against the remaining alien ships. And at this point, I think all remaining alien capital ships are, well, except for the assault carrier, are destroyed. So we've got a quality advantage, let's say. Remaining firefight. So if the PD can hold, alien ships will begin to melt. Aliens have 4 remaining ships to bring into the fight. Our last remaining 10 are mostly unscathed. I think we're winning this. Although we'll have to hunt down the remainder that managed to disengage, because quite a few did disengage. Okay, all aliens are now in the fight. It is but a matter of time. Plasma begins to open up. Zealot Carrier is probably the most heavily armored ship they got remaining, so once the plasma starts to do its effect, it's gonna be even quicker to go through the rest. Time to run down the last two. They're attempting to run for it. We're not gonna let them. Here we go. So after 5 in-game hours, our fleet stands victorious. The salvage from the battle being 6.2 thousand volatiles, 5.6 thousand metal, 2.3 thousand nobles, half antimatter from probably looting our own ships, because that's how much antimatter we probably brought along, and 127.7 exotics. The alien fleet does have some survivors limping away, but they have lost the battle, surely, at this point, for this station. And given the amount of time that took, we need to keep going, but I personally need a short break. So I'm actually not going to stop the YouTube recording here. I'm going to pause it. But if you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I will be back after a short break. And welcome back, Twitch. Or, welcome back to Twitch and YouTube. Sorry for the short break there. The excitement of the battle kept me going, but I need to take a short break there. And now we're back. So, India 674, the surviving ships returns, available for operations at Alien Station Able. It's time to end Alien Station Able. 13 remaining ships. Please proceed to do that. Spare propellant. And now let's run down what's left of the alien fleet. Still quite a few alien ships in orbit. Let's remedy that. So, still a semi-large fight with 13 versus 26 ships, although at this point they're much more heavily damaged than us. It's time to run down what remains of the alien fleet. Both fleets are willing to fight. Prepare for combat. Yeah, that looks like a reasonable deployment. So they've got 20 deployed with another 6 in reserve. So if we blow up 6 ships, the remaining 6 should come in. And they're not even attempting to send flanking maneuvers out at this point. Must be that most of the ships don't have very good maneuverability left, which makes sense. Okay, here comes their remaining 6. They're not completely harmless. We do have incoming plasma from one of the enemy ships. One of them, in fact, still has kinetics left on board. Okay, focus on one of the kinetics, please. Although it's probably light mag. There's probably a light mag battery at that. Slowly and steadily hacking our way up the line. drop the nose lock on, so that hopefully if we have a imminent collision, the ships will attempt to avoid colliding. Because unlike the aliens, we actually have the ability to maneuver. I think we're safe enough to start locking those again. Okay, we need to turn around and deal with the second wave coming in. Okay, there's most of the small stuff. Dreadnought, work on the third mothership here. And we can always run the engines a little bit to catch up on the one that's maneuvering away. No, I say maneuvering away, it's drifting away at this point. Okay. Turn off lock nose, match velocity, please. Oh, wait, no. Target. Intercept course. Wait, how is that an intercept course, guys? No, 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 no. You all target him. Just that bad at recalculating. Oh, that's full speed ahead. That's intercept course. That's better. There we go. And with that, I think we've cleaned up the mess of additional ships. Focus on bombardment. Finish up this campaign. There we go. So 89.2 exotics from that fight. So that was definitely a bunch of exotics in those guys. Definitely worth running them down. If the fight were to go on, in theory, for a definite period of time. And then we'll check our objectives. For Earth is not enough. We got the GDP. Got those destroyed. We haven't destroyed all the alien fleets because there is one on the way back. Ah. Okay. Well, we can get rid of the base while we're waiting here. High-level bombardment at Swift Guardian base. Can you try to engage the alien on the way back? Obviously, not here yet. That's not it. Although we could engage that one, that wouldn't be a terrible plan. Yeah, we got 53 ships on their way back. Victor 20 is the last notable alien fleet. 109 days out. That's a 53. Oh no, well, we'll wait until it gets here, I think. Okay. Bombardment ends. Target was destroyed. So that's all their bases. We do need to destroy the defenses at Alien Surface Base Alpha. So we'll begin that bombardment. Okay. Presumably engaging the bombarding group, yeah. What is the status of the surface base? It still has the ability to return fire, so it must continue to be bombarded. Interesting, the voice lines aren't playing. It's just giving us the game music. The characters aren't, some of the UI elements aren't making the correct noise. Should have made a noise. There we go. These three ships here are supposed to obviously be joining someone. Isn't there? Ah, because we moved them out to the moon. That's fair. Because we remembered we had an incoming from, I think, the Academy. Okay. We're not expecting the target to be destroyed, because the target can't be destroyed. What we're hoping is that we can get the site not be defended. It's still defended, so continue fire. Okay, so now if it stops firing, that's fine. We can go get repaired because it's run out of defensive capacity. Oh, it looks like it'll probably run until the 13th of October either way. Or the 3rd of October. Oh, there is also still things for it to embark, so keep shooting. Yeah, at this point it can't do anything more because it can't destroy the unknown facility and it can't destroy the alien core. Okay. So let's get you to pop very quickly back over to the repairing station at Waywat. 3.8 hours. Nice quick transfer. Begin repairs and actually be done pretty quickly. And then confirming assignments just be confirm assignments, yeah. Okay, so it is safe to land there. We've got something to land there. I think that might actually prevent them from rebuilding for the moment, which is what I want. You will be here in 51 days. So we destroy the remaining alien fleet, and this lands, and we should win. Not Victor 10. If I had this, Victor 20. Maybe Victor 20 is right. Yeah. So we can go intercept them, hit them in 6.68 weeks. Yeah, so we can definitely hit them before they get here. Right, because I'm willing to burn like half the fuel to get there. That hits them technically 3 days before they'd arrive, so we can hit them a little early. Let's do that. We don't even necessarily need to win the fight, we need to drive them below 4K. So something like destroying half the fleet will do that. When will more soundtracks be added? No clue. I'm not sure if they're even planning on adding more soundtracks to Terra Invicta at this point. You're transiting. You'll be there in 20 days, okay. There's a little bit more than one. There's not very many, but there's definitely a little bit more than one. This is a different sound. This is a different melody that's playing right now. There's only like a handful. There's not very many, but there is in fact more than one. It's actually all... No, that was just one more. We're up to 3. I've got another 7 coming online over the next couple days, 8 days out for the other ones. Oh no, they're all scattered all over for whatever reason. 18th, 19th, something like that. Okay. You're gonna resupply. I think we'll actually just leave you at that station until we know we've got rid of the last fleet, because we can't do anything at the alien station Able until Victor 20 is brought to size. Oh, we've got another fleet that's just finished repairing. Cool. Just finished arriving. Okay, we're gonna send you to orbit. Alright, arguably we should deal with you, yeah. Go to that fleet, please. Here we go. Okay, we're going to confirm this council action. We're going to have a fight on December 10th. We'll be big enough when I will need to fight it. And then we'll have our person land to tame the enemy. If everything goes according to plan. So affirmative here. Here we go. 13 versus 53. Engage we go. Don't like that it's laggy in here. There it goes. Probably having some texture streaming issues. Yeah, that's 20 alien ships, and they got another 33 to come in. Although I think that's pretty much everything bigger than a cruiser already in. Oh, they have actually no, they got one battleship in reserve, but most are bigger than a cruiser in. Okay, 1 kill, 2 kill. Trying to hit the ones that maneuver if they expose this side. It's real well. Okay, 3 kill. Four. We're going 5. Got a Titan. Yep, that's aliens showing off their incredible drive tech. Using a Titan as a flanker. Oh, we lost one. Not immediately concerned. we want that one to go weapons cold. Looks like the one's weapons cold. Swap in the next target. Goal right now is to try to get the Kinect to stop firing. If we can do that to enough ships, then it's easy enough to clean up the mess afterwards. I am probably going to lose another ship. Oh, there's more aliens in the back there coming in. It's a little too far. Slowly cutting through all of them. Build the second wave of flankers here, and then we'll redirect. I'll be back on the first line. Looks like the red meteor there is probably the most capable of the remaining ships in the current first line for the enemy. Turn and engage. Connects. Well, it looks like the point defense is handling it reasonably. Okay, I think we've silenced the guns on that one. Let's swap to a different target. I think we've brought weapons line on that one. Next target. We have 22 ships to come in after these guys. There's including a battleship in what remains, so... Bring that one offline quickly. That is offline. Bring that one offline next. It looks like the lasers on that Dark Fury are the only one weapons capable out of what's left. At least fully weapons capable out of what's left. Here comes the next wave of ships. Try to wreak as much damage on the current wave, where the next one comes in. Bright Star next. I think Constellation probably after that one. Which one will probably turn to face these guys. Looks like those capital ships have drifted into safety for the moment. So we do have a battleship coming into the next line. Shoot light? Shoot the battleship. Shoot the battleship. Although it's a pretty lightly armored battleship. It might have been one of the ones from earlier in the game, actually. Not be surprised. Aliens don't exactly run the same tech rules as the player does, but they have their own ineffable game of technology they do. The damage control is trying to fix the ship. Damage control operating also reduced effectiveness. Yes, explains why that ship isn't anywhere near fixed at this point. There we go. So with that, we have some degree of victory. We'll see if we can get these get this fleet to a repair yard. It doesn't really matter if we can't get this fleet to a repair yard, because we're going to win the game. But it would be nice to know if these guys actually survive after destroying that fleet. Got 53 exotics off of it, not bad. Select a new transfer window. Yes. Can you make it back? Yes. They can make it back. Sure, that works. Okay. With that, you can finally descend to the station. To low orbit, go. Land on the surface at the base. We're going to wait until the next council phase, apparently. It's there. You may begin your repairs. 1.7 days. Not bad. Not bad given what you've gone through. So yeah, at this point, Earth is not enough. We've got 89% of the GDP. We got our bases. Complete, 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 complete. We're now just waiting for Tame the Enemy, which is the next counselor cycle. So YouTube is getting a super episode here. Getting a 2.5 hour long episode. Mostly space battles. Mostly one space battle, to be fair. That was a big space battle. Yeah, we'll get back to the council action. I'll do a quick save, and then we'll do the tame the enemy mission, and then we can look at some stats. Debris strike. Bunch of damage on mostly unimportant modules. Do a rebuild all. Good. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick save here. So this is pre-game save. Pre-win save. Back to the game. Tame the enemy. Confirm assignments. Time pass. And I don't know where in the council action that is, but should very quickly. There we go.
The purpose of victory is power, and the essence of power is control. In the hands of those who have earned it, power gives the masses safety, opportunity, purpose, the very foundation of civilization. Upon this bedrock of bricks and gold, of blood and data, we build our legacy. Many mouths fed by one hand, many hands led by one vision. If we keep control, we keep ahead. Because without the brain to command it, the body politic is simply a corpse.
And that is victory. Victory for the initiative. Faction knows the initiative has achieved its goals. Initiative infiltrators have deployed a mind control weapon against the aliens, making them submissive to commands. Their control of both Earth and the aliens is assured. You have subjugated the alien Hydra.
Welcome to a new, brighter tomorrow.
Welcome to our new, brighter tomorrow. We've completed the Earth is not enough objective. I am pleased to report the operation has been an unqualified success. Our infiltration team was deployed to the wormhole without significant incident. Losses to our fleet were acceptable. Once through the wormhole, they were quickly able to subvert the Hydras occupying the base built around the wormhole's other end and found more gates nearby. After multiple hops between alien stations, they found the Hydra home system. According to reports we have received, the bulk of Hydra population is concentrated in orbital hams around the currently uninhabitable Hydra homeworld. This allowed our near parasites to quickly spread throughout the Hydra society. By our current estimates, approximately 70% of the original Hydra pre-invasion population is currently under control. Another 25% were unfortunately lost when it became necessary to eliminate several orbital habs that had closed themselves off from neo-parasite inflow. Our R&D department assures us that Hydra population has more than sufficient genetic diversity to absorb those losses. The remaining 5% of holdouts are resisting for now, but are cut off from their basic support and infrastructure, and are not anticipated to be a major threat. The Hydra military and administrative facilities are under our control. We effectively rule the Hydra home system of Delta Pavonis, and through it, their interstellar empire. Now that the Hydras have been dealt with, this leaves only the issue of other human factions. I am happy to report that the plans by resolving this are well underway. New parasite development will allow us to rapidly compromise known enemy agents, which will in turn allow us to spread our influence further. We anticipate that we should have effective control over Earth within a matter of months, with up to a year budgeting for tracking down recalcitrants. As previously discussed, our current projections indicate that the Academy, Resistance, and Servant factions will have to be eliminated entirely. Looking forward, the Council believes that the era of nation-states is over. Most national governments upon Earth have by this point been toppled or reduced to puppets, and those that have survived the Chaos Invasion and our own Neo-Parasite sweep are likely to dwindle further into insignificance. Our analysis believe, correctly in my view, that there is no reason to eliminate remaining governmental organizations. We see no reason not to pay lip service to their claim of authority. Any presidents or other leaders who attempt to press these claims upon us will have the reality of the situation quietly explained to them. Our neo-parasites, combined with our command of the wormhole and Hydra Society, gives us an unprecedented level of influence over human affairs. We are already drawing up plans to make use of this new Society 2.0. Neo-parasites will enable us to optimize workers for industries and market sectors that have traditionally been seen as undesirable or low status. Our new working class will be far more productive and happier in their station. promising individuals can then be selected on a meritocratic basis and promoted to the administrative class, where they will be free to focus on higher level matters. Of course, some amount of crime and social disorder is a permanent feature of human society, so we feel it more realistic to confine such behavior to designated areas rather than attempt to limit it entirely. Such non-corporate free zones should act as a useful incentive to encourage the population to take up employment in our organizations. We anticipate that surviving members of other factions may linger for some time as the resistant movements or terrorist groups, but so long as they are confined to Earth, this should not pose a serious threat to our new, more advanced, and productive society. The future is bright, both for this council and for humanity as a whole. And that be the victory. Interesting that hitting close there, like, deleted the world. It's technically, I think, taking it back to the loading screen. Coming good. You can do it. You can do it, game. Okay. That's the game. So that's the a full run through of the initiative, and here it's doing the credits. I'm gonna go ahead and load back into the game. How do you think it went, the run? The run went pretty well. I think it went a little faster than the previous run as the Resistance. I think the Resistance run took 20 streams. I think we did this one in 19. So, we didn't do it that much faster. It took us like 4 hours less real time, I think. If I were to guesstimate off of how long my streams usually are. In game time, I don't think we did it much faster. I think it took about the same amount of time in game time. Definitely traveling around the outer solar system is just slow. The Resistance we used drives were a little bit faster, but they obviously came online later. Yeah, you're saying this is a 7.5 hour stream. Yeah. I think the last one is the Resistance was also a little bit longer than normal because we were close enough to the end. It's like, okay, I'm finishing it. But yeah, it's one less stream than the Resistance one. And then the aliens were definitely much better in this one. The aliens definitely put much more of a fight. They went a little bit more heavier on the kinetics, and that definitely was a little bit more effective against the way I was playing. Are there other victory conditions? Yes. So every faction has different victory conditions. So that was the victory conditions for the initiative. The Resistances were fairly similar in that they had to clear all the tier 3 bases off of all the locations. Let me bring up the victory conditions here now that we're back in the game. This first one, which is control 60% of the Earth's GDP, this is an initiative-only objective. The other factions don't need to do this one. Also, in theory means the other factions don't care if you control Earth GDP. The initiative wants it. The initiative's the one who cares about it. The Resistance specifically wanted there to be no alienation on Earth. So the alienation had to control nothing. So that was the one we were playing last time. And they specifically wanted the alienation to control nothing on Earth. In this run, at a certain point, we had our GDP. We didn't mind if there was an alienation because we're the initiative. We're going to enslave them anyway. The initiative also wants to have a space presence. So we had to have a tier 3 module or tier 3 base in Mercury, Earth, Mars, Ceres, Jupiter, and Saturn. The Resistance didn't. The Resistance wants to go back to the pre-war status quo. They don't need to have these bases. So this is one way that this faction was different. On this one, destroy all fleets with a combat power of 4,000 or greater. I think for the Resistance, this was all alien fleets with a combat strength of 4,000 or greater. They didn't mind if there were other humans out in space, but they cared about the aliens. The initiative here had arrived at the conclusion that they're going to have problems if the other human factions have space capacity. So they've decided we got to get rid of all fleets. regardless of which faction below 4,000. So that's one way that victory conditions differ. The resistance for all of these, where it's like no, or these are all alien bases, right? So destroy all the alien bases. This is pretty similar for a lot of factions. I know the resistance has these objectives, all of these objectives, from Mercury down to this one. Humanity First has this. We have this. I think the Academy has these objectives, which is destroy all the planetary bases. I'm not sure about Exodus. Exodus might not care. Exodus is planning on leaving, right? So do they care if the aliens control space? Maybe not. I know the Protectorate doesn't care, and the Servants don't care, right? Because they have different objectives. Their objectives actually probably want the aliens to have control of this stuff, because then they don't have to worry about other human factions controlling. Right, so this was our objectives as the initiative. We really cared about money and industrial power in space. And in particular, where the centrist disagree with all the other factions. All the other factions are doing something wrong. They're either too extreme in one direction or the other. So we had to sort of handle all the factions. The extremists kind of have that, but only against the other side, right? So the Humanity First is probably going to be like, destroy all fleets that are not, or destroy all fleets of pro-alien factions. So no servants, no servants, no Protectorate, no aliens. Vice versa, servants are probably going to say no anti-alien factions. So get rid of all the Humanity First and Resistance fleets, for example. And that's different. And then they have different goals as far as Earth. So Resistance was no aliens, where GDP. Servants, as I think 66% of all regions, or 60% of all regions need to be controlled by the alien administration. Protectorate, I think, is 60% of all regions need to be controlled by them. So the victory points, the victories do differ quite a bit. Exodus is planning on leaving, so Exodus has like a whole quest line of they're building the Ark, or the Ark platform builder that builds the Ark to go off to the extrasolar colony. So they don't really care much about the status quo of space, other than the fact that they recognize probably that the aliens do, and so on and so forth. But yeah, the two that I know for sure is the Resistance in this one, and the aliens were a little bit. I think this might have been because this was done. Started in a release candidate. The aliens were sort of at their final game tuning, and they definitely fight better. Particle weapons are a new thing that worked better. The aliens are a little bit more willing to go pretty heavy on the kinetics in this run. This run was also started on because it was a release candidate 6 start. This was started in 2022 scenario. There are 2 other scenarios. There's a 2026, which is basically the 2022 scenario, but updated to be the current start time, right? So basically January of 2026 instead of, I think it was like November 2022. That has some effect on some of the orbital transfers, and of course, the Earth has changed in the meantime. Additionally, they've added in, I think it's like a 2050 start date, which is like an accelerated start date. If you want sort of a alt history, we've modified the world so the world's a little more balanced start date. But getting into some of the statistics here. So, we didn't really know anything about the other factions at the end because we weren't spying on them to that degree. This is what the other factions had for resources, so we can compare and contrast our resources versus theirs. We'd mostly kick them out of space. There are a lot of situations they've actually got a decent amount of space resources just because they don't really have fleets anymore. You can see Project Exodus is apparently running out of money. They've got enough probably in space that they're running out of money. That's probably where they're spending their money. And they're actually out. The Resistance is out. they're running a deficit, but they still have money, and yeah, there's some of these guys are still in the game. For I think all of them. Oh, we can see if they know their objective. We can see their objectives, right? So we actually realized that Project X has never reached their victory objective, and then we can see the other factions' objectives. So this is the servants. The aliens must control 65% of Earth. The combined fleet power of alien and pro-alien factions must be like 90% of the power in the solar system. Okay, pretty simple. The Protectorate, their faction wants to control 60% of Earth. They want their nations to control 50% of GDP, so theirs actually conflicts with ours. They cannot win at the same time we're winning. They want tier 3 Habs, not allied with the aliens. So the Resistance, Humanity First, the Initiative, the Academy, Project Resistance, to be gone. Well, that's a problem because I have that all those Habs. Venus, so on and so forth. Yeah, these are mostly my Habs. And then these are mostly my fleet. That's fair. Resistance, or the Academy wants to control 60% of Earth because they care about educating Earth. They're not as opposed to us, so they care about kicking out the extremists. So they don't want Humanity First, they don't want the servants, they don't want the aliens. Humanity First is the aliens must control none of Earth. The aliens can control some of Earth. Pro-alien factions must control less than a certain amount. And it's obviously tier 3 stuff, aliens, and so on and so forth. Resistance is aliens control none of Earth, they control a little bit of Earth. But arguably at the end of the game here, the Resistance, if they can get the aliens to go away and can like sneak into the base that we've suppressed out in the Oort Cloud, they could technically win at the same time we're winning. Because our goals are not opposed enough that they can't win at the same time we're winning. I think you can win after the AI wins. It generally doesn't happen. It usually happens when the servants win, or the Protectorate wins. But technically, you can win after any of the AI wins. And then Project Exodus didn't even research their victory because that's how far behind they were. From a global standpoint, this is public opinion across the world. We were public opinioning in the largest nations, which is why ours is as high as it was. What would it mean if you win after they win? So some of the... If we go back here and look at the objectives, right? Some of the objectives... Well, how to put it this way? When they complete their objective and they quote-unquote win, unlike when the player wins and the game kicks you back to the... gives you that spiel and then kicks you back to the main menu because you've won. It doesn't game over you if they win, right? So some of your conditions you might be able to hypothetically do. I think there's even an achievement for it. I think there's an achievement for like Rise of the Phoenix or something like that, which is where you let someone else win and then come back from that. Because things like, oh, the aliens must control 60% of Earth. Well, there's ways that you can still sort of resist as like a terrorist group. Like the Resistance can literally cause rebellions and stuff like that, and get bits out of the alien nation, sort of unwinning for the servants, for example, and then somehow claw back from that if you wanted to. It's not necessarily easy. That's kind of playing the game on hard mode, but you can do that. You don't lose when someone else wins, right? So you can win after they win. Now, some of those would seem a little weird, right? If you win after Humanity First wins, and you're a faction that has to do something with the wormhole, they blew the wormhole up. How do you do that? In practice, you probably don't win in that scenario. But Humanity First also rarely wins, right? Usually they're not the ones winning. Even the Resistances usually win, because again, they gotta do stuff that involves going to the wormhole, and usually if the human or the AI isn't, these two don't usually win. Let's put it this way: if you're not playing the Resistance or you're not playing Humanity First, those two are probably not gonna win. But the Protectorate and the Servants are a bit more plausible for them to win, right? And you can come back from their win states. and arguably Exodus can actually win pretty easily, right? But if Exodus wins, they leave. Like from a role-playing standpoint, that means someone from Exodus has literally left the solar system. Do you care that they've left the solar system? Like, that doesn't stop you from winning. Your winning objective is sort of tangential to them. The aliens care, but you don't. But yeah, so some of these, like, how do you win if the Humanity First is won? It would be weird, but the game, I think, doesn't technically stop you from winning if Humanity First were to carry the goal. Just unlikely. And then stat-wise, we get into here. I think in fact, we were slowly beginning to wind back climate change. I think the global high in temperature was 2.1. We got it back down to 2. So it's starting to come back down. We're starting to undo global climate change, but global climate change, to be fair, is kind of tangential to winning the war. It's buying you more time so you can win the war before the economy collapses. Because global climate change is causing an annual 1.5 GDP collapse right now, and that's at 2 degrees. The higher it goes, the quicker your GDP collapses, and the more resources you have to put into keeping your GDP up. Also, the harsher the global warming events get, and some of those can kill people, right? So we had 9.1 billion people living on Earth, and a GDP of 254 trillion. If you don't control climate change, then climate change will either kill your people or kill your GDP or kill both over time. But we were getting climate change under control. But again, it wasn't really. We wanted it under control. We don't want it getting worse. We don't really need to make it better. Like, we could handle that level of GDP malice, and we were. And then I think what we owned, because we can see it in our objectives here, we owned 227.5 trillion GDP worth of nations out of the 254.3 available. So that's the state of affairs. Obviously, if we look at the fleets, our fleets, we were just under 60,000 at the end. The aliens, of course, were pretty beaten. If they brought all their fleets together, they had 4,000, which would have actually meant we would have to fight the fleet. But that's how beaten the aliens were. They needed to put everything together to prevent us from winning. Project Exodus was 2.3. Academy is 1.3. Okay. 800-ish. 7.4 thousand. So again, if the servants put everything together, they'd actually force us to fight them. 1.6. And the resistance at 2.5. So yeah, we had the humans pretty beaten in space. And these are all, if we don't hide all the initiative, or all the obsolete, these are all the different ship classes I made at various times. Most of them are upgrades of upgrades of upgrades. And a lot of them contain exotics just because I realized, well, a lot of them are also like UV, photon, there's lots of different weapons. So Twitch was asking, what does it mean Project X does not even research their objectives? You have to learn what they are when you play? Yeah, so by default, you kind of get a theme of what your faction is going to be interested in at the beginning, right? So Project Exodus knows their goal is to leave the solar system and go colonize another solar system. So, however, Project Exodus at the beginning of the game doesn't know how to do that. Right, they know what they want to do. They don't know how to do it. So these are the main quest objectives, right? You start off the alien crash. You go investigate the alien crash, you research some signatures, and different factions have a different set of these. For example, the Exodus is not going to go research Parasite Mastery because they don't care about that. They want to leave the solar system. And at the end of it, you get your victory objective, the final objective, which tells you what you need to do to win. But you kind of have an idea of what your faction wants to do the entire time, right? So the initiative from the very beginning will have quotes like, we can't figure, or we don't see a way to make profit from this, because like they're thinking like a corporatist. They want to make money. How can we make money off the alien arrival? Is sort of the initiative's goal, and eventually they figure out, well, the aliens aren't going to want to do any commerce with us because they want to enslave us. But if we can figure out how to sort of Uno reverse card that, then we can make them do commerce. The resistance has to sort of work out. Okay, they know they want to resist the aliens, but they don't know what that means at the beginning. So they got to research how to get there. They don't even necessarily know if they need to resist the aliens at the beginning. Humanity First is like, we got to kill them. But what does that mean? What do they have to do to go about doing that? The Academy wants to agree to a peace deal with them at the beginning. But at the beginning, they don't know if the aliens, first of all, want one. And second of all, what it would take to make the aliens get one, to agree to one. Protectorate have basically arrived at the conclusion at the beginning of the game that they need to negotiate some sort of deal. And unlike the Academy, where like it needs to be a deal on equal terms, they're willing to accept a deal on unequal terms. They're willing to be the subject, with the goal of protecting humanity. And then the servants just straight up are cult to the aliens. They want to serve the aliens. They don't even want to protect humanity from the aliens. They want to just serve the aliens, right? So you've got the sort of different goals, concept of goals at the beginning of the game, and you got to research what that turns into as a victory objective at the end. So Project Exodus never got that far through their tech tree from projects. Without diving into their tech tree, it's a little hard to see where they got stuck. So they got Hydra interrogation, so they presumably caught a Hydra at some point, which is the last sticky spot where they get stuck on it. Oh, and they have a great journey ahead, so they've... I know where Project Exodus is stuck. Project Exodus, one of the steps... Twitch chat saying there's an ad going. I'll try to repeat this in a moment. One of the steps with Project Exodus is they've got to go figure out where they're going. Right, so they got far enough along, they're like, okay, we think we know what we need to do to leave, but what do we want to do? Okay, I'll try to repeat it. I think I know where Project Exodus got stuck in their progressing towards victory. Project Exodus knows they want to leave, right? And one of the steps in them researching their victory objective is figuring out where to. And I think they never completed that. It involves them building a certain number of like observatories to go look out into the stars and go like, we think that one has a good usable exoplanet sort of research they need, or objective they need to do. And I think they got stuck on that. Partially because I think they got a little annoyed at me. We got into a fight and I just wiped most of their stations. So I probably destroyed the thing they needed for that. So they got stuck on that step. So they know where they want to leave, but they don't know where they're going. Right, so they haven't hit the victory objective. They don't know what their final objective is because they don't know where they're going. They want to leave and they don't know where they're going. When you research your final victory objective, your faction also announces what they want to do. So the Project Exodus doesn't know where they're going. That's why they don't have the victory objective, and everyone else does. Right, so the servants are saying, hey, we want to build the alien nation, declare its domination of Earth. The objective is construct an array of battle stations above Earth to appease the aliens. The Academy wants to travel to the alien base and persuade them to sign a treaty. Humanity First wants to annihilate the aliens, and the Resistance want to assault the alien base and close the wormhole so they stop causing problems. But Project Exodus here hasn't announced that they actually are going to go leave to place X because we stopped them. You're asking, what about the initiative of your faction? If you played them again, could the actual victory condition change? No. So the victory condition... This is one of the things, right? If you can spoil yourself with this game, right? The victory conditions are hidden from the perspective of the character in game. right? But if it's always the same victory condition for the initiative, it's always the same one for the servants. So if you go look on the wiki and you go look up your victory objective, that spoils it. Although some of the factions, of course, know what their grand concept is, they just haven't unlocked it. Yeah, right. So like unlocking it for Project Exodus is figuring out not just they want to go, but go where. The servants are, we want to serve the aliens. Oh, we've now figured out what that means. Or the Protectorate is, oh, we want to come to a Protectorate deal with the aliens. What do the aliens want us to do? Sort of thing, right? And you're saying, damn, I thought it would be interesting if there were multiple hows. Just depends on what happens in the game. Yeah, at the moment there's only one how. I can imagine, and this might be something if they ever do DLCs with the game. If they add other options for what the alien could be, having different hows with different aliens. But yeah, at least how the current current 7 factions are flavored. They're slightly different paths to doing some of them, but the final result is usually sort of the same every way, right? Exodus is they always want to leave. You can imagine they might want to leave to a different place, right? That's part of the process in figuring out how they're winning. It's where they're leaving to. Also, how they're going to get the stuff they need to leave. The Resistance and Humanity First want to get to the wormhole to do the thing that wormhole and Academy at the same degree. But how do you do that? There's different drive techs you can get there to do that. But the end goal for these factions, at least as far as this game is concerned, is the same all the time. And Twitch was saying, I do find that multiple factions can win, and it's not a loss for you, which I guess in a way makes sense. The only winning move is not to play. Yeah. Or another way, right? In this game, right, there's no situation where a faction can be destroyed. Right, so as long as your faction hasn't been destroyed, there's always that thread that you can imagine where your faction somehow brings it back to a win. And there's some exceptions where, like Humanity First, it doesn't make sense if Humanity First wins if you can still go on to win with the Resistance. And partially because these two guys' objectives, for the Resistance to win after Humanity First wins would imply that Humanity First failed. Right, so they go through the portal with their bioweapon, and the bioweapon just doesn't work. Right, then you can imagine Resistance winning after Humanity First wins. Or vice versa, right? The Resistance go to close the wormhole, and it whiffs. Fail to blow the wormhole up, the aliens chase them back. But yeah. But yeah, definitely in the case of like the Servants, the Protectorate, right? The Servants winning, like, yeah, they control 65% of the Earth, but you can actually imagine a scenario where you sort of like XCOM 2 back from the brink, right? But yeah, the only sort of losing play is to give up, and that's very much how most people stop a game. They reach a point where it's like, the climb back from the state I've got myself in is too much of a pain. But yeah, I think this is where we should go ahead and bring this video, as far as YouTube is concerned, to a close. I hope you have all enjoyed. If you're watching on YouTube and you want to see another run, feel free to leave a comment. I am interested in potentially playing one of the other factions. So we've done Resistance first, or Resistance and the Initiative. If people have suggestions on what to run next, feel free to leave it as a comment. And Twitch chat saying, remember correctly, Victoria 3 after Terra Invicta, so Victoria 3 starts Wednesday. Yeah, let me go and bring the schedule up. But yeah, if you want to see more of this, feel free to let me know in the comments. If you're watching on Twitch, the current schedule is that tomorrow will be Humankind, Monday will be Shadow Empire, Tuesday will be Whiskerwood, and yeah, that would make Wednesday the next game. And yeah, we'll probably play Victoria 3. Let's say we're playing Victoria 3 on Wednesday. So that's going to be the upcoming schedule. Obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, we've actually got 5 parts of this. So we're probably going to have this part overlap with the first part of the Victoria 3 run. So you'll probably see there being Victoria 3 coming up sometime today. And yeah, obviously I haven't updated the schedule because I didn't necessarily know whether or not we were going to finish. So to Twitch chat saying the schedule still shows the Panzer Corps 2 from last week. So I need to update it for this upcoming week. That's why you'll notice in the Twitch chat or the Twitch schedule, I'll put in brackets the date number because I have to. It does repeating for multiple weeks, so I'm going to be streaming at that time, but not necessarily that game. So the fourth was Panzer Corps 2. The 11th has yet to be decided, but I'll probably make it Victoria 3, as you're saying. And then I think I might, when I do decide we're going to do the next Terra Invicta run, I'm probably post it as a poll to the Terra Invicta Reddit community and see if I can get some feedback on what people would like to see. Yeah, I think that's what it is. If you've got any comments you want to leave, I'll try to respond to all the ones on YouTube when they come up, and then on Twitch. If you've got any more comments or any things you want to see in the game, feel free to let me know. I'll go look at them after I bring the video to a close here. So until the next part, I wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part and/or stream, and bye for now.